I don't get it. We've sold more boards than ever before. In fact, they're going like hotcakes. But the net profit figures that Janie gave me are less than this time last year. Janie's the accountant, so she must be right. But it just doesn't add up to me. I thought the more boards we sold, the more we made. Look, it's been great having Janie around, help out taking over the bookkeeping and all the other financial stuff. Plus, she's a great mate. But why are our profits down? Janie's been acting a bit strange lately too. She wouldn't be doing it dirty on me, would she? No, of course she wouldn't. Maybe I'm just getting a bit paranoid after reading about all this one-tell stuff. I mean, it's certainly making me wonder what holes we have in this little operation. Janie told me herself when she first started here that one of the first things she learned about business structures was that it's crucial to make sure you have effective internal controls within the company. She said it would aid us in controlling our operations.
Well, you see, good internal control systems will ensure that a business is operating efficiently and effectively and will minimise the opportunity for fraud and theft.
The look of shock on her face when I showed her my idea of bookkeeping was a bit of a laugh. She didn't think my bag of receipts and invoice book with carbon copies constituted comprehensive financial records. Still, she had a bigger laugh when she asked to see my asset list. This is basically where all the shaping's done, just right here.
Do you by any chance have an asset list?
I guess we had been a bit naive up until that point. So there you go. I mean, what are your suggestions?
Well, a vital part of the internal control process is to clearly establish roles and levels of responsibility.
Okay. Well, apparently currently we all just muck in and help out, didn't cut the mustard for our Janie. She could see that although there were only 10 of us, we were already chasing our tails trying to keep on top of everything in our haphazard way. She said,
"Look, Jim, clearly defined roles will be vital as we expand. That way we all know what we're responsible for."
That's why we all took on specific tasks and why she took on the financials. I mean, as a qualified accountant, it would be a breeze for her, whereas I wasted hours trying to get my head around everything, especially that darn BAS stuff. Another one of Janie's bugbears when she arrived was with our paperwork.
Documentation procedures are crucial. You're obviously not a paperless environment here then. And we need to get this sorted so that we know where everything is and to make sure that nothing goes missing. Now mate, everyone finds procedures and paperwork a bit of a bind, but it'll make us more efficient if we can get on top of it.
Of course, she was right again. Even I know how the filing works now. Janie's other obsession has been to make sure that we're all responsible for producing accurate management reports on how our various areas are performing. It's Janie's report that has me stressing out right now. Mine showed that our production is significantly up. Dano's showed that the boys are shifting the gear as quickly as we supply to them. But Janie showed that our profits are down. And I still can't figure out why. At least now, our various reports ensure that we've generally got a good handle on how the company is travelling at any particular point in time. At least our various report figures have generally proven to be pretty accurate. More than can be said for OneTel. It appears that they regularly produce reports and accounts. The problem was that it's been alleged since they went belly up that a load of them were nonsense. Apparently the pressure to keep the directors happy has led to suggestions that some of the figures provided were not as accurate as they should have been. If they'd had good internal controls and independent internal verification of systems and results, then these things probably shouldn't have been able to happen. That's one of the reasons why Janie makes us all verify each other's reports. She's keen that we're all aware of what's actually going on. I must admit to being a bit resistant to all this at the outset. I asked Janie, "Oh mate, what's the point of producing all these reports when we've got boards to make?" And her reply was,
"Well, there's not much point making more and more boards if you can't see you're making them profitably. You need good internal controls and checks to get a clear picture of what you're doing. If you don't have them, you might end up with inefficiencies that can reduce profitability. You can also end up leaving the business wide open to fraud and theft. Can you account for every board that you've made over the last few years? Are you sure they were all sold?
I had to admit that I couldn't, so her words touched a nerve. Janie's definitely done so much for this place by knocking our systems and processes into shape. Look at her, beavering away at those accounts. I'm sure I'm worrying about nothing. There's probably an obvious explanation. Those South American travel brochures she's got worrying me though. What am I thinking? Hey Janie, it's beer o'clock.
Thanks.
Cheers. Maybe we haven't got our electronic control systems right. Janie might be overlooking some billing, or we're not charging the right amount for our stock. That could explain the problem. From what I'm reading here, it sure looks like OneTel made a mess of that as they grew. It says here that they sent incorrect bills to some customers, while others didn't receive bills at all. They also failed to look after their existing customers by not billing them appropriately. The knock-on effects were significant: bad debts, dwindling cash flow. I haven't received any complaints from our customers, so I assume we're not doing anything wrong in that department. It amazes me how OneTel let things get into such a mess. You have to wonder if they had a clue about what they were doing. Still, I can't talk. I've got Janie's report on the accounts. I can see that our profits aren't what I was expecting, but I still can't see why. Maybe I'm just out of my depth as well. Oh well. Hey Janie, how's it going? You're in early? Couldn't you sleep? Is something bothering you?
No, mate, I'm fine. I'm just trying to work through a few things. By the way, I printed out the salary slips and yours is on your desk.
Oh, great, thanks. Whew. Oh, I need this. Funds are getting a little bit low this month. As a boss here, I could do with some of the OneTel type CEO bonuses myself. Can you believe those guys? I mean, they lose a few $100 million and then pay themselves $14.2 million in bonuses. It was definitely going to be a good score if you could swing it so that your bonuses were tied to share price performance rather than profits. I mean, at that time, virtually any technology stock was experiencing dramatic share price hikes, so share price targets were definitely an easier bet than profits. No wonder shareholders and ASIC were concerned about the impact of these bonuses on the share price. It doesn't look the best, does it? Of course, they were right to be concerned, seeing as the share price ended up falling to zero. It's all well and good working to boost your company's market capitalisation, but you'd hope that the bonuses would also be tied to real profits as well. I guess ethical dilemmas were everywhere within OneTel. If I'd have been one of their sales force, would I have signed up kids and other poor suckers who were fairly obviously going to struggle to pay their bills just so I could get my commissions? Why bother with detailed credit checks when it might reduce your bonuses? Truth! Maybe that's it! Maybe we've structured our sales processes wrongly. Maybe we're giving the shop guys too big a commission for each board they sell, and they're selling too many at a discount just to get them out the door. That could be it. I'll go and check with Janie. Hey Kim, have you seen Janie?
No, not for a while. She cleaned up her desk earlier and just rushed out. She didn't actually say where she was going, just have a good one. She looked really stressed though. Not her usual self.
Oh, no.
What's up, mate? You look like someone in the family's died.
Where have you been? Do you know there's like $300 in the account?
Yeah, well, the salaries have just gone out.
Where's the rest of it?
Don't you remember?
Remember what?
Well, we opened a new bank account the other week and transferred over 300 grand into it. So we could improve our interest rate.
Oh.
Remember?
Oh. I'm sorry.
I brought you these. They're cheques from some of our late paying customers. I got a bit worried when I put together our management report last week on the company accounts. I noticed that I hadn't been putting enough focus on the accounts receivables, and I'd let a few go well over their credit terms. And there were quite large sums outstanding. You may have noticed that it was impacting our quarterly cash flows, so I thought I'd better rectify it and go and collect the cheques myself. It was my stuff up and I was a bit absorbed sorting it out.
Mate, it is so alright. Forget about it. Let's go for a surf. Hey mate, what does CPA after your name stand for anyway?